Yo, they killed my boy Jamie.
Oh, that was a surprise. I
I
don't
was.
know why. Why would they take Jamie out? Jamie was one of the key characters. Tell them what we're talking about now, Marlon.
We talking about Top Boy. We got around to watching season 2.
Yep, and if you watch Top Boys after the last time we talked about it, you realize that Jamie and Shane and all of them they're main characters, and
I
they
think I read somewhere though that season 3 is going to be the last season. How did you feel about season 2 on the whole? Let's start. Let's not start it in. Let's start at the beginning of season 2. You see that they ran down on the little boy accidentally. Oh, so how did just on the whole? How did what's your take
well
on
well
season 2?
season two was okay. It wasn't anything over dramatic or anything, but I don't know how Jamie ended up in jail, and then Deshane got to sh- show a film to get him out of jail when that film was there and anybody could have seen it.
Well, I think the reasoning why is because it was his private film. It wasn't actual. It's not like the housing complex they live in had security cameras that Jamie had access to and then lost access to at that moment. Like no, there was no security cameras, no official CCTV at that place, and I don't even think that they knew what to look for in it. Whereas it was private, like his personal CC, and then he didn't have access to the CCTV
Well,
video.
the thing is that let's say he didn't have access to it at that particular time. I don't see why later on he couldn't come back and pull up the footage. If the footage was recorded, he should have been able to come back later on, pull up the footage, and see, oh, that was so and so who took that lime green bag into the apartment.
I mean, my thing is, for one, because he was in jail, and for two, like how if he had his connection to it disconnected during that time period, like the only person who had access to CCTV information for that specific place at that specific moment was what's his name?
Deshane.
Deshane. He was the only person who had access to it. Similarly to how if something happened and there was a break in the connection of the security outside of this house right now for me, for you and mommy, I would be the only person who would have access to that footage. But I think
Well,
I think that's a side point. They needed something to happen, like to like make
to get them
drama,
together.
make it a TV show. Yeah, basically. And I think that if you want to, I think if you want to like pick at it, you could find imperfections in the logic, because although he might have only had access to that particular CCTV footage, I think that they could have found CCTV footage from somewhere in the city where they seen this little kid walking in that direction with that bag. So like I say, if you want to pick at it and nitpick things, I think that you can find imperfections in it. But as far as okay, we have to get Jamie in jail and make Deshane be the person to get him out. Like for as just making good TV, I thought that they did a good job of that situation. Personally, though.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sound like the bad guy because when they found the little boy in the garbage can dead, I was like, man, boy, that's nice.
Here's my problem. I I am willing to typically overlook shaky plots if they have likable characters. Like that's something that I'm willing to do. And that's why I did enjoy season 2 all the way up until the very last moment where he shot Jamie, and then it put the entire season in a different light for me to where I don't know that I would I can't say I didn't enjoy it because I sat there and watched 10 hours of it enjoying it, and then the last 3 minutes just made me look at it differently. But I think my problem was the line of events, the plot as I personally saw it. Um, Deshane gets Jamie out of jail for what the little boy did. Then the little boy, Jamie's friend, hires somebody that's supposed to tough up the little boy, like scare him a little bit, and that guy accidentally kills him. So then they spend a large portion of it trying to figure out who did it, like who's responsible for it. So then when they do find out who's responsible for it, we realize that, well, they don't. When we realize who is responsible for it, we see the guy kills the guy who he hired. But they don't see that. But Deshane is smart enough to put two and two together that's kind of fishy, that I didn't even get a chance to talk to this guy. You had him in this situation, and then, you just murdered him when I don't even think they really painted him out to be this, like, cold-blooded killer like that. Like, maybe if it was, why am I forgetting people's names? The guy who killed Jamie. Sully. Yeah, maybe if it was Sully who did it and it's like, yeah, bro, you just kill people, like, that'll be more understandable. But still, he was smart enough to realize that. So then it all comes to this culmination where he's like, okay, well, because he's responsible for killing one of my youth, then you got to kill him, or else I'm going to kill you. And I feel like that building up to that crescendo of, all right, all of these things have happened, and now Jamie, in order to keep himself in a situation to take care of his family, has to kill his best friend, and then he does it. I think all of that's masterfully done, well put together, until, like, you kill Jamie anyway. So it's like, okay, now what was the point of any of this? And it just, that's why I say I enjoyed the whole thing up until the end, where it's like I realized, all right, well, Jamie's getting killed anyway. So, like, what was this for? Just like I feel like it, and this is something that I was talking about when we were watching Bel-Air last night, that bothers me a lot when I'm seeing things on TV. It's just manufactured conflict. I feel like another example of that was that, okay, the girl who told the guy about Sully being at the funeral so he could get shot at, she ran away. And it's like, why did you have to get pregnant by the most crazy, like, why did that situation even need to be that? And I don't think you were enough of a contributing character to the show to where when you get to the end, the big bad, like the main antagonist, turns out to be some guy who he didn't have no ties to you before. You went out there, just happened to get pregnant from him. We didn't even see any of the buildup. We just seen you call your sister and be like, yeah, we know that you're pregnant by this guy because we seen the one scene before you told us that, showing that you were pregnant and living in his house and all that type of stuff. And it's just like, I just felt like what that didn't really even need to happen, and then it ended up playing such a large contributing role, but then it evolved into nothing also. Like, the only thing that's going to come of this is some random baby that I don't personally care about the baby. I'm sure that in storyline, like, the people, they care about the fact that, what's the name's going to be an aunt and, all that type of stuff. I still think that it's so minor, and I just feel like not enough was put into that to make that something that I care about, for y'all to have had it be such a large portion of the climax, whereas what y'all did focus on throughout the entirety of the season, what y'all were building through the whole season, at the end you just threw it all away by killing Jamie anyway. Plus, I like Jamie.
Well, my thing is, when they killed off Jamie, they killed off one viewer.
I'm gonna watch season 3.
Oh no, I will not watch any more of that.
Yes, you will.
I guarantee you, I won't watch season 3 of it, because to me, you done took the main character that I really liked out the picture. So
I mean, but we still have like
that's almost like tennis. You think I'm be watching women tennis now since Serena gone?
We could put a pin in that. Don't remind me that I did want to talk about Serena a little bit though. But my thing is though, I'm curious, what is Deshane's reaction to Sully, who, yeah, y'all are brothers, but at the same time, you just killed what I told you was my retirement plan, when another side plot of this entire season was that I've been trying to get clean for my relationship with my new girlfriend and her daughter and all this stuff. Like, you just completely went against me without even saying anything, and massively inconvenienced me. So I'm curious how he's going to react to that.
Well, he's going to see it the same way I saw it, is that he realized that he just had told Deshane he wasn't going to be a part of the group no more. They were going into totally different directions, and he don't see his future tied with his. And then Deshane tell him, "Hey, Jamie is gonna be my retirement plan and all that stuff." And then all of a sudden, you leave Deshaun and go straight to Jamie and kill him.
Yeah, that seems like
That's another manufactured conflict,
I
because
don't
now Deshane and him Sully gonna be at each other again.
I don't know how that's gonna happen though, because they weren't at each other when Deshane made Sully kill one of his close friends, and that I'm curious as to how that particular line of how that plot line is going to develop moving into season 3. That's why
Well, you can tell me about it.
Okay, and I was about to say something else with it too. I'm curious how that's gonna is he going to what's gonna happen with I'm horrible with names. What's the name of the place they live in? Something House.
Oh, I just knew it was Liverpool, England, or something that
No,
were.
it was even the name of the side series that we watched. Something House, whatever.
Oh.
I'll look it up and I'll put the words on the screen somewhere. But anyway, I'm curious how the development of that's gonna happen. Yeah, there is things moving into season 3 that I am genuinely curious about. That like you say, I'll tell you about what happens, but I am very genuinely curious about. I'm still interested, even though one of my favorite characters. I want to know what effect is this going to have on Jamie's younger brother. His older brother seems to be at a place in life where he already kind of knows who he is and what he wants to do, and he might be able to handle this type of tragedy and trauma better than his younger brother. But I want to know what's going to go on with that.
And my thing is, you got Sally killing everybody when technically that's the person who would be getting killed. You would have so many people out to kill him to where he would be dead by now. But you take one of the main characters who, other than killing his friend, I don't know of a lot of other characters he killed.
And I don't know. I think they've shown him killing a decent amount of people. I would have to go back.
Yeah, you would have to go back and look. I know he's been in a lot of little scrapes. Excuse me. But he hadn't really killed that many people.
I know that, and then there's stories of how him and Deshane used to kill people. The guy was willing to rat on him, was going to tell everything about all the people they've killed. I think a lot of it may have not been on camera, but it's just people know that they killed people. But like I say,
I know Deshane has, but I'm talking about Jamie.
Oh, Jamie.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie. Oh, I thought you were saying Sully didn't kill anybody.
No, I was saying Jamie. Other than his friend, I don't know anybody else Jamie killed.
Again, he talks like he had killed people. When he came back to Deshane and was like, I'm like that. You didn't have to send Sully out there to kill the guy. If you want the guy killed, you know that I do that. So, I don't know why these murders should probably stand out to me a little bit more than they do, because I'm having a hard time remembering them. But yeah, on the whole, I don't think any of these people are the type of mass murderers that you would see these gangsters be in America, because guns aren't the easiest thing to just come across when you're in.
I don't know. Sully done killed a lot of them.
Yeah, I feel like they live in a place, and I could be wrong because I've never been to England yet. But I feel like they're just in a place where if you got the gun, you're the bad guy. You win type thing. You're not gonna find a lot of you just run into people on the street and they have their gun on them type of people. Mm. But like I said, I will be keeping in tune for season 3 whenever that comes out. LeBron and Drake just got sued for stealing somebody's idea for something. I'm not exactly sure. Apparently, they both executive produced something, and they're in some legal hot water about intellectual property right now. So I don't know if that's going to have any effect on season 3, or the timing when that's coming out. But I'll be paying attention when it does.
Well, I think even if somehow somebody property was stolen, Drake or LeBron didn't do it, but somebody brought it to him and they didn't
Yeah, I don't think
passing it off as theirs.
I don't think they sat down themselves, looked at that, and then ran and wrote a script about what they had seen. I think more than likely they went and paid somebody to they went to produce something for somebody. Either the person had already written it and brought it to them, or they were like, hey, I want to work with you, and then paid the person to go write something, and then that person stole intellectual property. But just because, for one thing, they're the big names, they're the rich people involved, and they're the ones funding it, I think that's why the accountability falls onto them. Which I don't know how fair that is, but to be honest, I just kind of brought that up as a side point. I think that it's going to be something that'll be very easily handled. It's probably going to cost them a little bit of money that don't mean nothing to them, or maybe even they'll be able to find some way to legally get themselves detached from whoever did the actual stealing of intellectual property. Because being an executive producer, you're not that responsible for the creative aspects of what's being put down. I just brought that up because I thought it was interesting. I've been seeing the headlines.
Okay.